Hi everyone. Wendy here from the Gasha Center, and I'm coming to you guys with totally impromptu FB Live today. So here in Cebu, it's 12:30. It's lunchtime. So for those of you who are having your lunch, enjoy your lunch. I had an early lunch. I was up at 5:30 this morning. Um, so today, yesterday I already wanted to talk to you guys about some of the stuff that we did at the center this week. Tuesday, we had our last class. In the morning, we did chocolate yoga for anxiety, and I actually wanted to share with you guys some of what we did Tuesday morning. Tuesday evening, I had a guest teacher, Lynn from Vietnam, who led us through transformation art, which was also a very surprising, stressful for some, emotional session we had in the evening. And then some of you are wondering why I don't have any classes for the next few weeks. It's that I'm going to be traveling. It's my first break since the Gasho Center opened 11 months ago. Oh, 13 months ago. So I'm really excited about this trip. I'll be keeping in touch with you guys over Facebook and Instagram, because when you love what you do, you can't stop working, right? Because I love what I do. I love talking to you guys, connecting with you guys, sharing. Every day I learn something new from reading, from the internet, from my students. And Tuesday, so again, talking about Tuesday's chocolate yoga for anxiety, interestingly enough, the people in the group, I think there were 7 of us, none of us suffered from this debilitating anxiety that some people deal with. I have a lot of people at this who come to the center for help with anxiety issues, which is why I decided to make it a theme. Usually we do a lot of release work, a lot of letting go of the mind, coming from the heart, that kind of work. But I just felt like anxiety is something that touches everybody. I did a little research, and for instance, in the United States last year, 40 million people were affected by anxiety. So anxiety develops into a disorder when your fear and your worry basically takes over your life to the point that it comes in the way of your work, comes in the way of your relationships. So a little anxiety is normal. I have to deal with that myself. I think we all have to do it when we're faced with fear, worry. I had a little anxiety about leaving the center for this long. I'm managing it. Same with stress, right? Everyone experiences a little bit of stress, and that's also fine. It's how we manage it. So Tuesday's class was an hour and a half. And I really had so much to share. The group was so open, and that's why I'm actually going to do an extended version next month for our full moon session. So I don't really have that explained. Sometimes it's hard to put into words. A lot of the stuff that happens is channeled at the time or at the last minute. So I guess sometimes the copy is a little inadequate on the events. That's why I just feel like doing a live video is just more effective. Or when you come to the center, I get to explain what's coming up. Stuff like Theta healing or Seraphim or Kundalini that we've had recently. It's just, words don't do justice. And those of you who have attended can attest to that. Hi, Ellie. Hi, everyone. So more about this anxiety session that we did. We started with cacao. So a lot of, most of the people who come to the center know that I've been working with cacao, and I love combining it with whether it's meditation or creative work or breath work or movement, because it's kind of like I would call it a spiritual social lubricant, the way alcohol would be, except it doesn't have, those side effects. It makes you more lucid. It's also, it doesn't give you that jittery feeling caffeine can give you. Coffee, it's a heart opener. So cacao allows us to connect more freely, more authentically with ourselves, first of all, so that we can actually open up in a place of security and safety with the others in the group. Which is maybe why oftentimes people say, well, things get integrated very fast at the center, and the energy, people pick up on the energy and how supportive and uplifting it is, and people are sometimes surprised how people are introverted outside of the center tend to open up and share. So we started with cacao, and then we talked a little bit about anxiety, and one of my favorite things to do is make lists. And so we started making lists about situations, things that make us anxious. So what is anxiety really? It's a state of mind where you're worrying about something that hasn't happened yet, okay? So you're kind of spending a lot of time in the future. This is gonna happen, I won't be able to do this in the future, I'm gonna fight with this person, I won't be able to afford this, that. So being disconnected with the present, spending a lot of time with fear and worry for the future. That's one definition of anxiety. So when we start listing these things down, we start to realize that a lot of them are thoughts, right? Thoughts about situations. And the work we do, again, is changing thoughts, that we know that we can change thoughts. We know that we're not our thoughts. And even if at first it's daunting and it's difficult, it actually, as you practice, the more you practice, the more you realize, oh, I can change this thought, even if at first it feels like it's fake or it's awkward. If we work with affirmations. So listing, step one we did was listing our anxiety triggers. So step two, and this, you guys can do this at home. I'm sharing it because I feel like people can benefit from it. Step two was gratitude list. So this is one of my favorites, and I always recommend it, whether we're doing releasing work for the full moon, whether we're doing seed planting, whether or anxiety, or just your ritual, morning ritual. Gratitude list can be as long or as short as you like. And then finally, our third list, really super simple. Like, who doesn't like making lists? Or maybe people don't like making lists, and I just like making. So our third list is things that make us feel good. So it can be really, for me, sitting in aircon when it's really hot outside makes me feel good, right? Or enjoying a nice cup of your favorite tea, or watching a funny movie, or getting your nails done, or whatever it is. We're all different. Making a list of those things that you can go back to. Doesn't have to be anything that costs you anything. So basically, those are the three lists we were working with on Tuesday. So we did that before we did our breath work, before we did our very gentle asana, our yin yoga. So what is yin yoga? So I did yoga teacher training, was it 2 years ago, 3 years ago? We covered, it was a vinyasa course, but we looked at a lot of different styles of yoga, more or less superficially or in depth. And my favorite was actually prenatal yoga and yin and restorative. So most of the yoga that's practiced in Cebu is yang, meaning to say we use a lot of force, we sweat a lot, we exert a lot of effort, which is totally fine. I probably should be doing more of that myself. I'm doing some other workout I just started 2 weeks ago, so that's my yang practice. So ideally you want to have both. But in terms of what I enjoy teaching and what I want to share with the community at the center, and especially for, I would say, anxiety, yin. So what happens with yin and restorative yoga? I'm going to talk about them together, and then I'll tell you guys what the main differences are. We are holding very few poses. We're holding them for a longer time. We're really more of stretching and allowing gravity and allowing, the key word is allow, which is also the key word when I teach Reiki, right? So resonance here with yin yoga and Reiki. You're really just allowing your body to open up. As we hold the positions longer meaning say between 3 to 10 minutes, 10 minutes for like a reclined butterfly, Supta Baddha Konasana, or Rani Kariti with your legs against the wall. You can hold that for 10 minutes. You can hold it for 20 minutes, right? So the benefit of holding the pose for a longer time is that it sends a signal to your brain that you're safe in this position. So as your brain starts receiving the signals, it kind of relaxes and allows you to just release more and more and more, because we're so used to being uptight and tense. So all day, I mean, that's part of being human. Otherwise, we'd just be like jellyfish, right? So we have to be upright, posture, right? We have to be upright to walk and function. So it's so unnatural for the body to wind down, and even you can see how people change after 1 minute, after 2 minutes, after 3. So after 4, depending on where you are and how easily you can get into that place of relaxation. Yeah. That's also why I like to do one-on-one work, because everyone's in here. But in terms of this, the groups are small when I do these workshops. Like I said, the cacao is helpful. It preps you. You're like, okay, I can let my guard down here. I don't have to, I can let go of my flight or fight mode. So bear in mind, these are all happening beneath the surface. The fact that we're tense, the fact that we're holding our jaw, the tension here, we're not conscious of it. It's just, it's so habitual. We don't even realize it. So sometimes, you touch somebody's shoulder and it's like a board of wood, but they don't realize they're holding tension. They're not purposely holding tension there. So everything's related. So last Tuesday, it was an hour-and-a-half session. I totally zapped the pranayama part. So pranayama is yogic breathing. Why is breathing helpful for anxiety? Because you have to, in pranayama, you have to really concentrate. And so when you concentrate on your breathing, you can't do, people think multitasking is, you cannot do 2 things at the same time. Multitasking, you're actually like doing a succession of small things. So it's actually, I was watching this video how it's really not the best thing to do. So when we do pranayama or any yoga or meditation, our brain can't be in that fear or worry mode, because it has to focus on that moment in the present. As we lengthen that moment in the present, we let go a little bit more, maybe it's a split second at a time, we let go of that fear, we let go of that anxiety. So as far as I'm concerned, 1 second living in the present is worth the effort, worth the breathing, worth your breath, because that 1 second can become 2 seconds, and so on and so forth. I always tell people when they're new at meditation, there's so many people have misconceptions about yoga. People have misconceptions about meditation. I can't do it. It's too hard. So start with 2 minutes. You can be still and quiet for 2 minutes. Like anyone, I'll give you, no, I'm not going to give you 1,000 pesos if you can't do that, because I can't check it. But anyone can do that. So try it. Try it, even if you're not anxious. When we connect to the breath, whether it's with pranayama or meditation, when we slow down, we prep ourselves for a challenging moment. I was telling one of my students who was going through a very difficult time, in her personal life, I said, this is a moment to call on all of these workshops. She's been going to a lot of the workshops at the center and classes, and like, this is why we practice, right? This is why we do all of the stuff we do. It's not for the good times. It's not for when you're going to be, you know, relaxing at the beach. No, it's for those moments of difficulty, those moments when life just brings you on your knees. And believe me, it happens to me. And so it's easy to tell you guys what to do, right? But I also have to remind myself, like, okay, this is when my practice empowers me. This is when I need to do my practice. So yeah. So yin yoga. So I told you I'd tell you the difference with restorative. Basically, both of them, you hold the poses for a long time. So mostly opening, stretching poses. With restorative yoga, all of your joints, your body parts are supported by a bolster or a pillow or a towel, whatever it is you have handy. That's really the main difference. So nothing is left hanging in the air. So it's even more, you know, relaxing than the yin. So yin, typically you'd have something kind of up in the air. It's still calming and relaxing, but the stretch might be more intense. So yeah, that's the main difference. And at the center, I only do restorative one-on-one because I only have one bolster. So that's why we'll be doing more of the yin in the future. Yeah, so that's for what happened on Tuesday, our chocolate yoga for anxiety. I want to do it again. I want to do it, honestly, we could have gone on for much longer. I had a list of yoga things and meditation and stuff, and we only came halfway through. So we'll be doing that again for sure. The other thing I wanted to mention, so for those of you who are just joining us, Tuesday was our last class. I'm going to be away. I'll be back end of the month. And then in November, there's just so many cool things happening in November. I encourage you guys to check out the website, check out the FB event page. Contact me if you have any questions. Like I said, sometimes I get, you know, I get excited and I don't explain stuff, and because in my head it makes sense, and people are like, what is she even talking about? So yeah, just don't hesitate to ask me. I wanted to talk about our guest teacher, Christopher Leward. So he's originally from New York. I met him a couple months ago at a workshop, and so I teach meditation, but there's just something about Chris. He has such a calming, beautiful calming energy, and he's been doing this for 13 years, right? So I invited him to the center where he'll be doing 3 meditation sessions. So they're guided meditation with a Q&A. And then he's going to do 3 what he calls wisdom talks. So they're more of lectures. So people are like, what's the difference? You know, can I attend? Do I have to attend all? So no, you don't have to attend all. You can just go to one. But you might want to go to all once you get a taste of Chris's teaching. And so Chris has a bunch of YouTube videos also. I was watching one of them recently, and he mentioned a silent retreat. I think it was in Thailand. And so I wrote to him and I was like, hey, you think we could do a silent retreat? We've never done one. And so I've been trying to do regular retreats. Last one was in Camotes at the beach. It was amazing. And Chris was like, sure. So we're having a silent retreat, and I'm so excited about it. I've done 2 silent retreats in my life when I was much younger. Not a Vipassana. It was actually in a Catholic institution in the Alps, facing the French Alps. It was just breathtakingly beautiful. It's a long time ago. So I was really excited about it. And when I shared it with the students, they're all like, no, I can't do silent retreat. Like they think it's really hardcore. So again, that's just an idea we have that, you know, we can change if we're open to, first of all, if we're curious. If you want to, I didn't think it was challenging, but if you want to take it as a personal challenge, yeah, give yourself a chance to check that out. So just a little bit more about the retreat. It's going to be guided as well. We're not just like dumped there and, you know, like that. So Chris is going to be guiding us all of the way. I posted the schedule so people would be able to take a look at that. They're basically, I'm not going to read it out, basically guided meditation, then a silent meditation, then like a walk. So different, you know, he does it, he knows what he's doing. Just, and if you guys have been coming to the center, you know how picky I am with my teachers. So yeah, I totally trust Chris with this. I'm actually so excited. I wish it could be longer than 2 days, but yeah, we'll see how this goes. So again, the retreat is November 15 to 17. Other than that, before that, there's a Reiki level 1 course where you learn how to practice Reiki self-healing on yourself and your loved ones. So that's a really good all-around basic course. Again, I use Reiki on everything, whether it's my space, whether it's my card readings, whether it's my food, whether it's my, okay, we'll just talk about it then. I had tried to do a webinar on Zoom and my mic wasn't working. Like, what is, anyway. So I'm going to stick to FB Lives for now. And then I'm also teaching Intuitive Tarot. You guys know, a lot of you follow me. I used to do, well, I still do the FB Live Tarot. Next one is actually going to be October. So now I'm doing it monthly. And that's intuitive. Intuitive meaning to say I don't memorize the card meanings like a lot of people do. Of course, it's kind of fun to also know, you know, to study symbology and so on. Sure, like that's awesome. But the purpose of Intuitive Tarot is quieting the left brain and just kind of connecting to your intuition, right? So it's really a self-development tool. Okay. All right, everyone. I spoke for a long time. I wish you all a great day, a nice weekend ahead, and don't forget to check the events and just message me if you have any questions about anything. Bye, guys.